there. Good day to you all. As I promised you, I'm starting to make these videos in relationship to specific issues people suffer from. I think this is going to be very helpful to those suffering from these issues. They won't have to sift through all the question and answers where I'm giving their answers, but it might be lapped in a whole bunch of other things, and so maybe it takes a while for you to sit and listen to me flapping on. But let's go down the road of diabetes. I think it's important that you view the videos on the lymphatic system. Probably wouldn't hurt to view the video on cancer as well, because if I have to go into the lymph system and explaining that and explaining the two sides of chemistry and the two major fluids that take care of the health of your cells, then it's just going to be a redundant part to each of these videos. So I am going to do a separate video. There is one, it's like the second video I did here on the lymphatic system. It's also on my website called The Great Lymphatic System, first part of a new book called the Illusion Called Disease series. And that's exactly what that means, the illusion called diseases. And the problem with using the word diabetes, you can throw all kinds of things in on that fire. You can kidney failure, you can throw all kinds of things and blame it on diabetes. And this is the problem with medical thinking. They're looking at the ass end of the donkey and then trying to tell you what the problem is. So since they can't see the problem or know the problem by looking at the ass end of a donkey, then they tend to lump it in an autoimmune problem. You have an autoimmune problem. Notice how you always have problems. And these diseases just seem to be springing up all over the place. What's going on? God's sending out the diseases to everyone. That was bad. You know, this kind of bull crap. There is a cause and there is an effect for every single thing on this planet. All your human body is roughly 100 trillion cells, depending what school you go to, and two major fluids. The two major fluids of the human body obviously take care of the health of the cells. And you've got to get that. You've got to understand that the human body is very simple to understand in its basic overview. In its complexities of nano levels and all kinds of activity going on, worlds within worlds are going on in your body as we speak. All levels, from the large to the nano, and even beyond. We could not comprehend how the Supreme Being has put life together in all its frequencies and all its levels. There is no way, and it is not worth it. It feeds the mind only to confuse the mind and keep the mind always seeking knowledge. And this is where and why this YouTube site and why these videos I'm doing for you, to give you knowledge, to empower yourself, not to disempower yourself. You must, in today's world, take control of your own health and empower yourself with knowledge. And so I'm going to give you the knowledge of health and what we know of blood sugar problems. You know, when you say you have blood sugar problems, there's several types. And we can use the word diabetes or hypo or hyperglycemia, but it gives you the wrong impression that this is some kind of disease with all its intricacies and all the problems that is, and that's just not true. None of that is true. So you first must understand your great lymphatic system, and it's very important. As an overview, your two major fluids that flow around every cell in your body from head to toe, and everything is a cell, from the skin to the liver to the heart to the bones to the muscles. Everybody's just a bunch of cells, different flavors if you like, but all cells. And two major fluids. The two major fluids of the human body, of course, are blood and, of course, lymph. Lymph is the sewer fluids, and blood, of course, is the kitchen. In all life, you will see those two aspects in every walk of life, all the way to the plant kingdom and probably all the way to the elementals. There is consumption and there is elimination. Consumption, obviously, is the consuming of nutrients, which there is a lot of controversy, which is ridiculous. Health is easy to understand nutritively. But then there is the lymph system, the sewer system. And this is what the allopathic community is ignorant of, is the gigantic lymphatic system. And that's the system where 99% of all problems arise. That's where all the cells get damaged. That's where genetic takeoffs start. The great lymphatic system is everything to your suffering. Everything. And this is the sewer system. The blood, it just carries goodies. It is true that we've been eating a highly acidic, a high-fat, high-protein diet, and there's nothing any worse you can do for your body than to take in high proteins, or really basically any protein. Your body's not designed to consume proteins. I hate to tell you that. The strongest animals on the planet do not consume proteins. That's the primates, which is closer to us, and then that's the herbivore family. And when we started, we were farmers growing up, and when you feed cattle, dead cattle, and other forms of meat, like hogs and chickens, I find man just went over the hill and down into the biggest dark dungeon there ever was. What the heck happened to farmers? Did they lose their mind? What happened to our society that we've just dug deep into the pits of hell in our eating habits and everything? We're the sloppiest, ignorant eaters there are. And no offense, but we have been miseducated. We have been misinformed, all because of big corporations, all because of money. You're lied to in every form of the word. Milk, good example. What is healthy about milk? Absolutely nothing. Or milk products, dairy products. I want Dairymen's Association to belly up and tell everybody what's healthy about pasteurized milk, and what happens to the chemistry of milk when you ultra-pasteurize it. What happens to all the minerals like calcium when you ultra-pasteurize milk? What happens to all the water-soluble vitamins like your Bs and your flavonoids? What happens to those when you cook? You kill them. And you bond all the metals and the minerals to each other and to your aminos. You got a food that you can't digest and utilize no matter what you do. And most of the people around the globe have lost their enzymes to digest it. So look at meats. We're the farthest animal away, or the farthest species away from meat eaters. We're just not a meat-eating species. We don't have anything about us that deals with high-protein type diets. We don't deal well with high-phosphorus foods, high-nitrogen foods. It creates acidosis in the blood. Therefore, the blood has to steal calcium. So everybody has all the calcium problems like varicose veins, spider veins, bruising easy, petechia, cramping, depression. The line goes long. Why? Because of acidosis. Now, I've been using the word acidosis. It is vital that you understand the two sides of chemistry. Yes, there's only two sides to thousands and thousands and thousands of chemical compounds and about 123 or 26 elements now. So there's only two sides to chemistry. One is the healing side of chemistry, and one is what we call in chemistry the corrosive side of chemistry, which is the acid side. The alkaline or base side of chemistry is the healing side. I don't want to spend time going into them on this video. You can review the cancer video or review the great lymphatic system, because you must understand the lymph system and its connection to the kidneys and adrenal glands. You must understand this because blood sugar problems start in the adrenal glands. Your adrenal glands sit on top of each kidney and produce roughly 50 steroids. Steroids do just innumerable things for you, and steroids include some acidic steroids like estrogen, testosterone, and aldosterone, but then all your cortical type or cholesterol-based steroids of cortisol, progesterone, stilbestrol, all your mineral steroids are for mineral utilization. All these things are in the adrenal glands. That's just half the adrenal glands. The other half is your neural transmitters, and that keeps the autonomic nervous system, the one that makes you breathe, heart pump, bowels move, that sort of thing, that nervous system healthy. When the adrenals are down, down goes your autonomic, and down goes your steroids. So this is a big problem, because when the neurotransmitters go down, so does your kidneys. Your kidneys go down in their ability to filter the gigantic lymph system. One of the biggest, I think, stupidest and most ridiculous theories is that your body dumps its sewage into the blood. And that's ignorant thinking. There's no way. Your kidneys are the filtering organs of your gigantic sewer system, which is, by the way, 3/4 of your interstitial fluid. That's the fluid that flows around all the cells. Only 1/4 of your interstitial fluid is blood. 3/4 is lymph. Do you ever pop a juicy pimple? That's what you're seeing, interstitial fluid, 3/4 lymph, 1/4 blood. And you'll see that in tumors, you'll see that in cysts, you'll see it all over the place. And the reason is this system gets backed up, it forms tumors, polyps, cysts, boils, pimples, you name it, because that system is vital to not back up. That system is your lymphatic system. That's the main sewer system. You've got to remember that every cell, almost every cell in the human body eats and eliminates waste. Two different functions, the same thing you do. You eat, you visit your kitchen, and then you generally go to the bathroom and get rid of waste. Well, that's digestive waste. What about cellular waste? You've got a body with roughly 100 trillion cells that eliminate waste. What are you going to do with several pounds of cellular waste from the brain, the heart, the lungs, the kidneys themselves, the liver, the legs, the muscles? Where are you going to get rid of these wastes? And wastes and byproducts from cells, chemical manufacturing plants, cars, they're all acids. And acids is the corrosive side of chemistry. Your body is not an acidic body. Your body is designed as a predominantly base chemistry body, which is an alkaline or healing side of chemistry. That's your electrolytes of calcium, magnesium, sodium, potassium. That's the good boys. The acids are your phosphorus, your nitrogen-rich ones, your sulfurs, your irons. These are acids. The body needs some, but it can't be dominant. When acids dominate, you're going, ow, oh, I'm stiff, I'm sore, I hurt all over. That's acids. And that is the retention of the lymph system. Sorry for the interruption. Always busy around this clinic. But in our discussion on diabetes, on blood sugar problems, if you lose the concept of diseases, you will do yourself the best favor you've ever done yourself. You'll lose the fear, you'll understand really what's happening. So let's look at the two types of blood sugar problems that are very common now. Hypo and hyperglycemia. That's low or high blood sugar. Type 2 diabetes, in other words. This is, of course, a sugar metabolism problems. This is directly related to adrenal glands. Your adrenal gland sits on top of your kidneys, and cortisol controls sugar metabolism. Despite what most endocrinologists believe in, despite your blood, I never use blood or saliva for steroid or hormone levels because they're very inaccurate. Symptomology is so much better at determining endocrine gland function. I can tell you right off. So when you run low blood pressure, that's your adrenal glands, that's your neurotransmitters. That also oftentimes reflects into low blood sugar. Low blood sugar is the steroid side of the adrenal glands. Low blood pressure is the neurotransmitter side of the adrenal glands. One's the medulla, which is the neurotransmitters. One's the cortex, or the outer portion of the adrenal glands, which is your cortical type steroids. Now, when you run low blood sugar or high blood sugar, it's obvious that you must make your adrenal glands healthy again. That's obvious. There's nothing you can take. I mean, you can take glucophage, you can take some type of blood sugar pill, if you will. We have pancreatic formulas that are excellent at helping you with the blood sugar control, but at the same time, when you fix your adrenal glands, your blood sugar stabilizes perfectly. In the dietary side of this, if you're having sugar metabolism problems, would it make sense that you eat complex sugars? Absolutely not. So anything that's a grain is complex sugar. Even protein, most of you diabetics will notice that when you eat protein, your blood sugar goes up. So when you're trying to get healthy, you eliminate all protein, all dairy products, all beans, all nuts, all grains, anything that's starchy, eliminate it. And just eat your fruits and veggies. This is what man has to come to in the first place, is a diet predominantly, if not 100%, fruits and vegetables. The more raw, the better. Notice no animal cooks their food before they eat it. How interesting. Why would you destroy your food before you eat it? We don't look at cooking as destroying the food, but it is. All your water solubles are destroyed after 109 at least. You coagulate your minerals. Not good. It is not good to cook food. Not at all. And we've got into that bad habit from living in northern climates where you had to store food before they were trucking. You had to kill your animals and dry them. Don't have to do that anymore. We can go back to a healthy lifestyle of frugivores, which is the human body. Now, don't be afraid of fruits because fruit sugar is a simple sugar. Don't be afraid of vegetables because it's a simple sugar. And you have to have sugar. If you don't have sugar, you're in trouble. Atkins was a really stupid individual. And there's another doc putting out another high-protein diet. Now, these guys need to lose their license. Of course, you don't have to worry about Atkins. He killed himself. So the problem is that our bodies are not designed for high protein in any way, shape, or form. When you do high protein diets, kiss your kidneys goodbye. And also, you can kiss your bowels goodbye because every year there's a study linking high protein diets to colon cancer, and last year was a 30-year study. So there's no evidence to show high protein is healthy for you. All the evidence shows the opposite. And if you're in a health program and you do protein, you're going to feel it bad. So we take you away from all that crap, all that misunderstanding, all the misinformation, all the propaganda, and show you the truth of it. And the truth of it is you're a Homo sapien is a frugivore species. Let's see, what are they? National Geographic has talked about this lately, that we're a tropical species, that we're a frugivore species, and now what we are, we're not omnivores. Omnivores are dogs, hogs, chickens, and bears. And if omnivorish eating was good for you, you wouldn't be listening to this and you wouldn't care about your health because you'd be super healthy. And most people are not super healthy because they're eating this sad diet of crap dead foods, and you can't do it. You can't do it. So type 2 hypoglycemia, type 2 hyperglycemia, very easy to deal with. Get the adrenals healthy. And of course, you're always going to have kidney problems when you have adrenal problems, aren't you? So a lot of people with blood sugar problems end up on dialysis, not from diabetes. That's a whole different thing. But those adrenals sit right on top of the kidneys. And when the adrenals are down, the kidneys are down, and this backs up the gigantic lymph system. So now you see the neuropathies, the gangrenes, because this is your sewer system that you're backing up. And the adrenals control the kidneys. And also control sugar metabolism and about 100 other factors. The adrenals are incredible. I thought the pituitary, the master gland, was great. The adrenals are unbelievable. 2 walnut-shaped type glands on top of each kidney, vital to the function of kidneys, but vital to the mineral utilization of the body, except calcium, which is a parathyroid issue, and vital to your neurotransmitters, autonomic nervous system, which is located right here in the gut. Now, what about type 1? How interesting. I want to help me with a case where a 50-year-old female had damaged her left knee. She went into surgery. The surgeon didn't obviously do a good job at that time for some reason, and so she ended up 4 different surgeries on that knee. Interesting. So 4 different surgeries on that knee. After the 4th surgery, she walked out with type 1 diabetes at 50 years old, and she quit menstruating. Now, what about surgery could have done that to her? And this is important, especially for the youth of today, because there's so much type 1 diabetes out there. Why? What's going on? Type 1 is where the islets or the beta cells are not producing enough insulin for you. Why? Insulin is what carries glucose through the cell wall. Now, interesting, fructose does not need insulin. So if you're having insulin production problems, you don't want glucose, you want fructose. This idea that fructose has to be converted to glucose is bullcrap, because glucose is a simple sugar and so is fructose. That's simple sugar. You can't get any simpler than fructose and glucose. Those are the two simple sugars that make up all the di and polysaccharides, which is your starches. So your maltose, dextrose, sucrose, those are polysaccharides, grain sugars, and that's comprised of several glucose and fructose bonds. That would not be appropriate in any blood sugar problem, would it? So you'd want to stay away from oatmeals and breads and all the grains and cereals, rice, potatoes, all that starch. Your body can't metabolize sugar in the first place when you have these problems or carry that sugar through a cell wall. Why would you have more sugar? But realize sugar is essential. Sugar is carbon, hence carbohydrates, carbon chain constituents, exactly what gasoline comes from. So if you look at carbon as the fuel of the body, and of course we have our carburetor right here where you mix this carbon with oxygen, and at the cellular level, hydrogen is yanked out, and now you have ATP, adenosine triphosphate. That's essential to every cell. That's why grizzly bears put on all the fat. So when they're sleeping, that fat can be broken down by the liver into glucose, because every cell requires glucose and oxygen, or carbon more aptly, and oxygen. So this is essential. Starving the body for a sugar, not in the divine plan. You don't starve your cells to become healthy. That's ridiculous. You don't starve your cells to overcome cancer. You don't starve your cells to overcome anything. You'll create more problems. So you don't want to do that at all. Now, there was two medical doctors in Canada that I felt should have won a Nobel Peace Prize, and they were overlooked. And I thought that was ridiculous. As hard as I am on the medical community, there's some great medical doctors. And these two are great medical doctors. They discovered that in a lot of type 1 diabetes, they're neurologically diabetic. Now that's something very important to understand, and can we link that to the 50-year-old lady that after the knee surgery she ended up with type 1? She ended up with a neurological type 1. Well, they did a islet transplant, a beta cell transplant, didn't work because it's the nervous system. It wasn't the beta cells, nothing wrong with them. It was the nervous system feeding or controlling the beta cells. Nervous system controls everything, electrical department. Turns the other lights on everywhere. And allopathy hasn't been thinking about that. Well, I have. And so very important to understand a neurological type diabetes, big time. And which nervous system would control the islets? Which one? Probably autonomic. And you can lead the autonomic nervous system right back to what? The adrenal glands, absolutely. So a lot of type 1 can be traced right back to the adrenal glands. However, there are type 1s that are actually pancreatic type 1s, and that's when you have to get your pancreas healthy. There's a lot of type 1s we throw strictly on fruit because they can't they're not producing insulin. Why would you take vegetables? Humans are not designed to eat vegetables in the first place. Those are horses, cows, elephants, generally 4 stomachs or more. I don't know any human with 4 stomachs. I don't know any human with a GI tract 30 times the length of their spine. Ours are only basically 12. We don't have the grinders to grind that cellulose. There's nothing about a Homo sapien that reeks vegetarian. We're fruitarians. We're designed for fruits, berries, and melons and things like this. Things that are easy to open, easy to digest, easy to, because we're very simplistically designed. So important to understand that. We've taken a lot of type 1s, even brittle and insulin pumps, and putting them on fruit diets. You might glucose load for a few days, okay. And if you got fat and break fat down, you still might see that a little bit. But you know what? You'll move through your ketosis, you'll move through your acidosis, and you keep moving. I remember a mom, she had, her daughter was type 1, and she was getting ketosis real bad, which is fat breakdown, of course. And daughter was craving watermelon. She put her on watermelon fast for the day and no more ketosis. Generally, it ran her into the ER. So detoxification at its excellence. You want to regenerate, and the younger you are, the more genetically obviously that this is. Cells function by their genetic memories, whether they're strong or weak. Every cell in your body is a genetic cell. Doesn't mean you have that determines their functional ability. But you can change their functional ability like you can change yours. Genetics is just memory patterns in cells, which you can actually regenerate that and create a higher thinking cellular pattern in the body. It isn't just a physical body, there's an etheric body aligned to you. Anybody lost limbs? You have feel the phantom limb syndrome where you still feel your limbs? That's because you still have them. Not physically, etherically. So there's a lot to the worlds of God. There's a lot to the worlds of health, and yet it's very simplistic. Keep it simple. Type 1 and type 2, always fruits and vegetables only. If you cook them okay, and you ride that, those brittles, keep working your way between those two. Fruits, berries, and melons. If certain fruits skyrocket your blood sugar, all right, take them off and work yourself through this. We use herbs to get into the kidneys, the adrenal glands. We start enhancing the function of your adrenals, but of course we're going to do that. Of course we're going to get into your pancreas and make it healthy. We're going to make your whole body healthy. And guess what? In a healthy body, you don't have sugar metabolism problems. Forget the word diabetes, sugar metabolism problems. Or you're not producing enough insulin to carry this sugar across the cell. Okay. You fix that. Everything is fixable. I don't care how genetically down you are. If you're diligent and you're focused and you understand health, that's what all these videos are on this YouTube channel, is all about health. And all these question and answers I've been doing for all our great YouTube viewers are all there to educate you so you can grab the bull by the horns and ride that baby. You don't sit there and just take insulin shots and eat what you want and go down life. Those are people that are unconscious. Get conscious and grab control of your life and your health. Learn the laws of health. And there's a lot of natural laws that nature has that you've got to follow them. We are not above the law in any way like some of these federal judges think they are.